Hey everyone, thank you for joining us again for another edition of TGG Cares. That's where we bring in a local nonprofit. We just introduce you guys to the nonprofit, let you know what's going on and how you can get involved. And super excited about today, one of my favorite guests. We have Julie from St. Francis House here in Sioux Falls. And so thank you. This is your second time on.
Yes, rocket.
And yeah, just loved having you on last year. So excited to get to
Thank
chat
you.
again this year.
Appreciate it.
So let's start off maybe like a 30-second explanation, elevator pitch. What is this? The person that maybe has no idea what the St. Francis House does.
Well, the St. Francis House is an ecumenical ministry to the homeless. We provide transitional housing, meaning that we'd like them to stay 60 days or longer, and they can stay up to a year. So we serve single men and women and families with children.
Awesome.
That's 30 seconds.
Perfect. That's good. Okay, so how do the people get to you that come and stay with you?
You know,
maybe a couple avenues.
I often feel that we are kind of that agency that helps people so they don't fall through the cracks. So I always say that we're kind of a melting pot because we take individuals who are homeless on the street, who maybe have just moved to Sioux Falls and they thought they had a place to stay, and then of course that fell through. We have individuals who at maybe one time stayed with us before and come back. We have people who are through, maybe I call them the specialty courts, which is like DUI court, drug court, mental health court, the VA court. And then we also have people who are on parole, and we have a specialized program, our work release program. But none of our guests who can stay with us cannot be charged or convicted of a sexual crime or a violent crime. We're one of the
just
few.
To keep everybody safe.
Correct. And we're one of the few agencies in town that allows children to come and volunteer. So the youngest that we have are 3-year-olds that come from one of a child care center, an in-home provider. Tracy, she brings her 3 and 4-year-olds to come and volunteer, and nothing's more precious than seeing these kids serving carrots on the line.
That's awesome.
You know, how can you say no to carrots from a little kid?
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that everybody is safe at the St. Francis House.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Holiday time. You guys were busy. We got to stop over last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Talk about the holidays this time of year, like Thanksgiving. Just
sure.
What makes it a special time of year for you guys?
Well, you know, first and foremost, I think it is just a blessing of how wonderful the community is for agencies such as St. Francis House and the other agencies in our community. And I really want to stress that we really do partner and we work together more now today than in my entire career than we have worked together. So we were very blessed that I think we ended up total, besides the turkeys that we got from some of the churches that we had planned on, but then someone dropped 32 turkeys off in one afternoon. So the blessing is my good friend Eric at the Union Gospel Mission. He didn't get many turkeys. So I gave him 20 of those turkeys.
Wow.
Because my philosophy is I know people brought it to the St. Francis House, but I think the true mission is for people to feed.
Yep.
We're supposed to be feeding people, and that's what Eric needed. And so we're all about giving and sharing of our resources because we're here to meet the needs of the less fortunate and those that are struggling, not building silos of stuff that needs to go into the hands of people.
And that's what I love about just our nonprofits and our community is that that where you work together and it's really like one big group helping each other out.
Right. So on my way here, I was handling a phone call that we got 100 gallons of bleach being donated. I don't need 100 gallons of bleach, but I know that if we disperse it between all of our group, that it will be all collected and everybody gets to have some.
Yeah.
So it's all about sharing. And I believe when you share the good gifts that are given, the good Lord will take care of us and provide us more.
Yeah.
And I believe that's why we have been able to be so successful.
So, you know, like in business can get this way too, where you can be more self-focused of, well, you might not need 100 gallons of bleach today, but you know, you could hold it and use it over the next 10 years or something.
Correct.
But that idea of like, well, today we need this and other people need the rest. So why is that important, do you think, and what in what you do, or why is that important to you as the director?
Well, I just think that, we're all in this together. I mean, not just because of the pandemic that we all, had challenging times, but I was always taught, first of all, waste not, want not. And I was also taught that you're supposed to share. You're supposed to, that's kindness.
Yeah.
It's about if you see someone struggling, trying to help them. It's not about hoarding. And yeah, I could keep the gallons of bleach and it would probably last me maybe until, I don't know, a year from now.
Yeah.
But I know that if I divvy it all up between the Bishop Dudley Hospitality House and the Glory House and the Arch and Call to Freedom, and we're all able to take whatever 10 gallons,
Yeah.
then that spreads it for everybody. And I believe at the end of the day, that's what our community and our donors want to see.
Yeah.
They want to see us sharing
Yep.
instead of, St. Francis having so much. Well, it's about giving to others, not just in the words that we say, but in our actions.
Yeah.
And I believe at the end of the day, that's what's most important.
Well, because I think so for maybe the people that want to give, it's like, well, where do I give? I don't know. Does St. Francis House need these turkeys or the bleach
Right,
or
right.
the pies or whatever it is?
Right.
So I think it just eases the minds of donors of saying, well, I'll just give it to Julie or Eric
or whoever.
at the Union Gospel Mission,
Right.
whoever they have that contact or connection with,
Right.
or who they stumble across, and I'll just give it to them and know that they'll know who
Right.
to give it to and to disperse it.
You will
the right
not
way.
give it to any wrong agency.
Yeah.
That is the best part. So I often tell people the story of, I don't know if you know Jerry Nautical, who was with City, and he was all a believer in giving. So they have what's called Jerry's Day. And they raise funds for Feeding South Dakota. And Jerry was a big supporter of St. Francis House. And someone once said to me, well, doesn't that bother you? They don't never pick St. Francis House? And I looked at him, I said, no, because if people give to Feeding South Dakota, we purchase, we're a partner with Feeding South Dakota.
Yeah.
So that's where we get some of our protein and our food. So you're not going to make a wrong decision if you give the money to Feeding South Dakota for
Yeah.
Jerry's Day,
Yeah.
because it's still going to trickle down and impact the St. Francis House.
Yeah.
And so that's where the big message is you can bring your stuff anywhere.
Yeah.
We're all going to share, because if I know, for example, that Madeline needs gloves at Bishop Dudley, then when we get gloves in, then that's where I'm going to say, hey, Madeline, we
Yep.
have gloves. Do you need some? And then that's going to trickle down to the individuals that she's serving right there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
And if anybody wants to do it different, then I guess I can't play the game, because
Yeah.
I'm not part of that. I'm not part of building silos of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm about sharing resources and working together.
Yeah. Well, I love it because it's staying true to the original mission, right? Because it's not about the St. Francis House
Correct.
as much as it is the people that
Correct.
you can serve.
Well, and that's what St. Francis was. He was the saint that, helped the poor and those that were cast down upon. And that is living the mission of the St. Francis House, is to be an advocate and to be able to help and to share. I think that's what makes the good Lord happy with us, is when we do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
That's awesome. I love hearing your stories. You're like a storyteller at heart.
Yes.
Maybe share a St. Francis House story that comes to mind.
Oh, well, I can tell you we have a difficult one right now. One of our guests who stayed with us about 3 years ago, I was informed, because I was his emergency contact, that he passed away. And it always breaks my heart when I'm the emergency contact for him. It's a blessing
Yeah.
that I'm honored that John chose St. Francis House and me to be his emergency contact. But I also knew that he had children, and I know that he was estranged from them. And so with some work between myself and Shannon, his employer out at Millennium Recycling, we were able to find his children.
Oh, wow.
And now they are coming to help be part of the last memorial for John and being able to do that. And
Yeah.
so as excited as I was that in September, we were blessed with 4 babies being born.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. One was pretty close. We got her to the hospital within a half hour
Oh,
of
my
delivery.
goodness.
I don't need to add that to my resume,
No.
being a midwife.
Delivering babies.
Yeah.
You could do it.
But
though.
then on the opposite end, now I'm giving John the final gift of being able to prepare
Yeah.
a memorial service for him the end of this week so that his coworkers and people at the St. Francis House who knew him and my staff can say our final goodbyes, and his family can take his ashes with them as they go back home because they don't live here in South Dakota. And so, sometimes it's not just going ahead and planning a memorial and us being selfish. We have to do the extra work to make sure those family members have that closure.
Yeah.
Whether it was good times or bad times and how their relationship was, they need to know that their father passed away, that he did love them,
Yeah.
and that now he's in his eternal glory.
Yeah.
And so being able to do that. So I'm honored that I get to do it, but it's
Yeah.
also very hard.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that he would think of you as that emergency contact, because the little bit of time that we've spent together and just hearing your heart behind the guests that stay with you and just, everything you guys do on a daily basis is it's almost like you're taking care of family. I mean, I'm not just saying that.
It has
I
been
get that
said.
sense.
It has been said. I had a nickname for many years, Ma Becker. And I
Yep.
would often say I have 2 grown children now, and I have 106 children at the St. Francis
Yeah.
House, because sometimes we have to, I have to give them that stern motherly
Yep.
look and voice of, knock it off, stop doing that stuff. You need to get up and you need to go to work and be able
Which
to do
is
those
good.
things. Which, these are all life
Yeah.
lessons that
Yeah.
either they were taught and they chose not to do them, or it wasn't part of how they grew up. And then it's also being there for the joyful times when they get awards or they complete treatment, or in the cases of some, is being able to rebuild those relationships with their family that they thought were nowhere to be repairable. And
Yeah.
I always say as long as you're breathing, there's still time to build and fix those relationships that have been tarnished.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's cool. All right, so we got Christmas
Yes.
coming up.
Yes.
Busy time of year.
This is the busiest and the funnest time of the year.
Yeah.
Because we kind of go overboard because we want to make sure that our guests feel so special. So we have angel trees that are in the community so that all of our single guests, when they go see their children, they have gifts to bring when they see them. Nothing causes more turmoil in a family is when the parent comes empty-handed with no Christmas presents. Plus, kids are kids. They
Yep.
want a gift from their parent.
Yeah.
We also have a donor that has paid for all the shipping. So the guests who do not get to see their children, they'll get all of their gifts shipped to their children.
wow.
And that's all been paid for by a donor.
Oh, great.
To be able to do that. Then, of course, we have all of our single guests that get gifts. And I'm at about 88 families right now that I have matched for our annual Adopt a Family. So these are families
And
that...
how many do you need?
Well, right now I have, it'll continue to grow, but I have 3 families that are on my desk that I still need to match for Christmas. And so as soon as donors call, then I'll match, and then sooner I'll have more donors than I have families. But it always works out every single year that at the end, everybody is matched. Nobody went without.
And there's not a big pile of presents that didn't go to somebody.
Well, and then we do have a donor, a business that is doing collection of also toys, because it always happens that right a few days before Christmas, we have new people move in, and then they don't have any gifts for their children that weren't planned. So then we have a room that we say, go into the room and pick what you would like to give to your kids. And here's wrapping paper. And if you don't know how to wrap, we'll wrap your gifts for you.
Yeah.
And then at the end, then we share those gifts so that, for example, the banquet can fill their toy closet. And then we have a few for like birthday presents, and then we've given some to, for example, the JCs and different entities so that
Yeah.
if there's a child, for example, in the hospital, there's a gift for them to be able to have on Christmas.
Awesome.
So it's
Yeah.
all about making sure that it's all at the end.
Dispersed
It's all
and-
dispersed.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, Bewitched, wiggling your nose and boom, it's all gone. Because we're able to match everybody and it's just so magical.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So ways to get connected with St. Francis House the year end here during the holidays.
Well, first you can either call, email, go on our website if you want to volunteer. We love volunteers, and it's not always just about serving meals.
Yeah.
We have groups that come in. For example, we have a bunch that are baking cookies. We can even bring projects to places. So, for example, Metabank is doing a big project for us. They're doing our guests Christmas bags, so they get little bags of treats for Christmas. So they're putting those all together for us. So
awesome.
and also for my employees.
Oh, perfect.
And so just we have so many unique different things that we can have people do. If people like to organize, we have a pantry that always needs organizing because as the food comes in. People can,
like to do that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. We
All
have people who like to organize. Right now, we have the ending of our 30 Days of Giving challenge. So it's 30 days of items that we go through. It's on our website and social media. Today is ranch.
Ranch dressing.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so it's 30 days of different stuff. On Sunday, we had 21 people drop off the challenge early that they've completed. So I think we've had probably about 50 plus people. And it's not due till December 1st, but some people are dropping it off early.
Funny.
So, but it's a great way to bring your kids out grocery shopping and teaching them that how to not only give to others, but how you can do it very reasonably by making a huge impact. I don't like to shop. I don't like going to the grocery store. I don't like doing those. So when people bring the stuff in, then I don't have to go shopping.
That's perfect.
See, you're making me so happy.
Yes. So ranch dressing.
So today's
ranch.
is ranch dressing. Yesterday's was what was yesterday's? I'm trying to think.
What's tomorrow's?
Well, I don't know.
They're on the website.
Yeah,
Go check it out.
it's
We
on
got
our
it
website.
We'll put it in the
Yeah.
in the chat below.
But it's everything from tomato soup to cream of mushroom soup
Kind of
to
your standard
your noodles. I mean,
stuff.
I think the most expensive thing is hot sauce. We go through a ton of hot sauce. Ranch and hot sauce is terrible. But it's just stuff that is continued stuff that we use to make the meals, or our guests like Pop-Tarts. Some of them just like to grab a Pop-Tart on their way to work, where others want a hot breakfast or a bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
So, so that's going on. And then, of course, we're always open to anything, like pies.
Yeah. Pies, ranch, not ranch with pies, though.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be good. But as we were talking before, we got a lot of pies donated to us on Thanksgiving. And when I came in on Friday morning, they were all gone except for a couple pumpkin.
Yeah. I love it.
The apple, the blueberry, the cherry. We even had pecan. It was a wide variety.
good ones.
And the guests just loved it because they could have as much as they wanted.
Yeah.
And that's something that we don't restrict as food because many of them have not been eating well for a long time.
Well, we stopped in on Wednesday. It was already smelling good.
Oh, yeah.
You guys were cooking and getting ready
Yes.
and preparing for
Yes.
Thanksgiving. So,
Yeah.
well, as always, I love chatting. I could sit here for an hour, but we'll end it, and then we can stay and chat and hang out off camera. But if you're interested in getting connected with Julie and the St. Francis House, there are the links to their website below where you can reach out, stop by, and just find ways to get connected.
Well, and we can even come out too. I mean, we go out and we do talking tours, churches, businesses, civic groups, you name it, youth groups. We like to be able to go out and share our message and have questions asked and answer those as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're looking for a place to give or volunteer, this is a great place, a great nonprofit. St. Francis House here in Sioux Falls, just another great nonprofit in our community. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next month.